2020, a year that started like any other. Like always, we stared the challenge in the eye and met the trouble squarely. Our imagination caught by the sound of waves, we discharged our duties bravely. The world was spinning as always. The sun rose, but the time stood still. In the face of calamity, we battled to defend everyone's right to live. We held hands and ensured safe passage with minimal restrictions, but didn't let our guard down. We stand guard over the development, the security and safety of our nation front and center in our minds. The sea blood brimming in our veins, we embrace this shoreless ocean as our workspace. Fire and storm, we have faced it all, undeterred and undaunted. We don't aspire to be heroes. We are one. Protector of the unprotected, unrestrained like the sea, we can turn calm to stormy. We pride ourselves in recognizing the warrior in others. It takes a warrior to know a warrior. We wear this uniform with pride and honor. Thunder rolling on the far-off horizon cannot deter us. We cannot live in landlocked harbor. Our duty is guarding our denizens. Our excellence is not an accident. It is the result of high intention, sincere effort, and intelligent direction. We skillfully execute our vision and convert obstacles into opportunities. Perseverance is our ethos and diligence our means. We are the Indian Coast Guard, fusion of man and machine. With an eye on excellence, the Indian Coast Guard passionately marches on towards securing the seas. Ready, relevant, responsive.
Indian Coast Guard is celebrating its 45th Raising Day, a force that has 14,000 men and women in uniform, a force that has more than 150 ships, a force that has more than 60 aircraft. To talk more on that, how has been the 45 years of the Indian Coast Guard and how do we see the future of the Indian Coast Guard, there can't be anyone bigger and better than the Indian Coast Guard Chief himself, Director General of Indian Coast Guard, DGK Natarajan. DG sir, thank you for speaking to NewsX, taking out time from your busy schedule.
Ashish, it's a pleasure to interact with you. And the 45 years of this Coast Guard has been the glorious years.
Yeah.
And it's pride and honor for me to be part of this 45th year and as a Director General Indian Coast Guard.
Okay.
The service has grown in strength over the years because of our veterans and the forefathers who was planned as a visionary of this organization, moved the system from the early days, as you made a mention today, with 156 ships and 65 aircrafts in our inventory. It's a big number.
Okay.
And it makes us as the fourth largest Coast Guard in the world
Okay.
today.
Our best wishes from our NewsX and ITV Network team to you and to all the men and women in uniform who are serving the country through Indian Coast Guard platform. To begin this interview, DG sir, I want to understand from you, it's been approximately 1.5 years since the time you have taken over as the Chief of the Indian Coast Guard. How do you see these last 18 months? What has been the ups and downs? What have been the major achievements? How do you see the last 1.5 years for the Indian Coast Guard, for you as the Indian Coast Guard Chief?
See, having taken over the reins of this Indian Coast Guard on the 1st of July 2019, the period of 18 months has been progressive, result-oriented, and making a many maritime histories for the first time. I should make a credit for this entire success to my officers and men, and also to my veterans who have made the path for us to progress.
Okay.
Today, whatever we are, we own to them. Having said that, the service has witnessed many and new thing in these 18 months.
Okay.
To say it, we have saved about more than 154 personnel out at sea while they are in distress.
Okay.
Notwithstanding that, there has been no loss of life and property at sea during the 11th cyclone that the nation has witnessed in the last year.
Oh, that's huge.
This is basically because of the preventive and measured response stance that the Indian Coast Guard has instituted in the last 18 months, that has made sure that we proactively responded to every call or every situation that was unfolding before us, meeting the fishermen community, addressing them in vernacular language out at sea, addressing the maritime community, informing the port authorities, and as a result of that, not even a single loss has taken place. Okay. Apart from that, we have moved more than 6,000 personnel, fishermen, back to the shore, and also to the maritime merchant men who are there at anchor off the ports were made to move to safer location or proceed to sea to clear from the path of the cyclone. Yeah. And also the offshore platforms which are there of Mumbai High and as well as of East Coast, they have been warned and cautioned. As a result, there has been no loss of property.
Okay.
Now, apart from that, the neighboring nations has sought assistance of the Indian Coast Guard when there was a merchant vessel which was on a passage from Kuwait to Paradip to the Indian port.
Yes.
This motor tanker MT New Diamond,
Yes.
which was carrying about 275,000 metric ton of crude for the IOCL. This vessel, when rounding the coast of Sri Lanka, had developed a fire. As a result of it, the Sri Lankan authorities have sought the assistance of the Indian Coast Guard and the Indian government for the response mechanism. The Indian Coast Guard swiftly responded to it on the 3rd of September, and this operation took for almost 7 days. And during this entire major firefighting operation, there has been explosions, there has been a lot of damages to the ship. But the Coast Guard, along with the international bodies and the Navy, fought the fire, responded, and we have taken the entire vessel along with the cargo intact, not even a drop getting into the sea.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it would have been a major catastrophe leading into major pollution response requirements, and it would have had a drastic impact in the ecosystems of the Sri Lanka and Maldives and also southern part. This has been well appreciated by the Prime Minister of Maldives as well as by Sri Lanka to the Indian Prime Minister.
Yes.
And as a result of which, the Indian Coast Guard has also been recognized by the Honorable Raksha Mantri this time by giving the citation to the Indian Coast Guard.
Oh, that's first, if I'm not wrong.
First time for the Indian Coast Guard that is being given.
Congratulations on that, sir,
Thank
to
you.
you and to all your men and women in uniform. Because, you know, most of the things you mentioned, I've personally witnessed and covered it as well. In fact, the MT New Diamond firefighting thing, I believe, is going to be a case study for a lot of
Yes.
Coast Guards across the world. Now, as you mentioned, there have been multiple such operations. But some of the aspects that that has been making a lot of headlines as well, as far as the Coast Guard operations are concerned, it has been the way entire coastal security, not only just in terms of the security, but also in terms of the narcotics, smuggling. A lot of these things have happened, and some of the biggest narcotics and the gold smuggling hauls that I've witnessed in last 1.5 years of 1.5 decades of my defense coverage has been done in recent past, and that kind of suggests that how strongly the Indian Coast Guard is working on it. I want to understand from you, how do you see the challenges for the Indian Coast Guard in say when 21 beginning for next 5 to 10 years, approximately a decade, the major challenges for the Indian Coast Guard?
See, you have rightly brought out everything clearly, Ashish. The coastal security has become the greater focus post 2611.
Yeah.
And the Indian Coast Guard has been given the prime task to protect the coastal security aspect in territorial water. The coastal security aspect mechanism has far too many stakeholders.
Yes.
The Indian Coast Guard has developed a standard operating procedure for all the agencies to work together for a common cause. And there has been regular coastal security exercises and coastal security operations are being conducted regularly to prevent any such incident recurring.
Okay.
Towards the aspects of coastal security, further we have moved a step ahead. Not only contain or protect close to the coast operation, we have started maintaining a relation with our neighboring countries,
Yes.
be it Sri Lanka, be it Maldives, be it Pakistan, be it Bangladesh, be it Myanmar. With all the countries, we are working one-to-one towards the common cause of preventing the transnational maritime crime, including the drug trafficking and the narcotics.
Okay.
As a result of which, the last year has witnessed almost more than 1.3 tons of narcotics that has been apprehended. Not only in our waters, we have assisted the Sri Lanka and Maldives also in this operation, and we have recovered the drugs from the Sri Lankan vessels and as well as the other vessels which are engaged in this narcotic operation. And also the contrabands, I think to the tune of about 1,600 crores have been done up during the last year. And there has been regular interaction with the neighboring countries.
Yes.
Information sharing has been really good, as a result of which the relation is building much stronger and better. Than allowing the incident to happen close to the shore, it is better to maintain far away and prevent it. Towards it, the healthy relation with the neighbors makes a big impact. And that has been a great success, and that's a good leverage for the Indian Coast Guard to be effective in our coastal security operation.
Okay.
Knowing very well what is happening out at sea, the activities as well as the fishermen requirements and the nation's needs are very well addressed by the Indian Coast Guard by joint operations, by grouping all agencies. We are also conducting training with the marine police personnel.
Okay.
We are taking them on board the ship these days from the 15th of August this last year, that's 2020. We have started taking them on board to give them more sea leg, more amount of training on equipments and systems, so that when situation comes, they are better capable of handling it individually apart from the Coast Guard.
Okay.
So there's a lot of things are happening, and the progress has been significant as far as the coastal security is concerned.
How do you see the major challenges now?
Challenges, see, as the India is a peninsular nation, the traffics are moving close to our coast. There are more than 1,000 merchant vessels transit every day close to our coast.
Yes.
And the maritime activities will continue to be there. And as long as the maritime activities are there, some of the activities do take place.
Yes.
Coast Guard is maintaining a healthy relation with every organization, be it customs, be it the port authorities, be with the various ministries, because the Indian Coast Guard deals with 14 ministries
Yes.
and with 3 departments. And as a result of our healthy relation and the information sharing,
Yes.
we are preventing many of the situations that likely to get unfolded.
Okay.
So these are preventive measures. As I made a mention earlier, preventive and measured response is the most important stance for the Coast Guard.
Okay.
And that has yielded a good result. And with that, we are quite confident and capable of resolving any maritime challenges that are likely to come. We have seen the Coast Guard ships when it moves out, it's a multi-mission platform by itself.
Yes.
The ship, when it's on a surveillance, is capable of doing the pollution response.
Yes.
It is capable of doing search and rescue.
Yes.
It is capable of doing drug interdiction. It is capable of doing anti-smuggling operation. It at the same time doing search and rescue aspects too.
Yes.
So that means any vessel which moves out is capable of doing everything. And with the good networking with the various agencies today,
Yes.
be it national and international, we are in a position to nab them much earlier before it transgresses into our water. I can proudly say today our waters are safe and secure.
Certainly, much safer. Having witnessed the 2611 in 2008 myself, it certainly has changed a lot as far as the security parameter, specifically in the coastal security aspects are concerned. Before I ask you a further question, sir, I want to highlight this point to our viewers that Coast Guard is one of the rarest, I would say, institution which, while doing its operation, becomes a revenue earning agency for the national treasurer and the exchequer. And we are not talking about few hundred crore. We are talking about an amount that goes into thousands of crore as well. So certainly, I would say this obviously is a byproduct of the entire process that Coast Guard follows and the operations that are done. But in order to further escalate the intensity of the operation, we just heard from you that we have exactly currently approximately 165 ships, 65 aircraft, and that number is rapidly increasing. Do you feel these numbers would be enough, both in terms of the surface and the aviation verticals, for the Coast Guard to carry on and increase further the intensity and the area of the operation that we have been doing?
See, as you rightly brought out, Ashish, the Indian Coast Guard responsibility is about 2.01 million square kilometers of our exclusive economic zone.
Yes.
And is also 4.6 million square kilometers of Indian search and rescue region.
Yeah.
See, any amount of assets may not be adequate when you put it across, it's in a large area when you have to respond to. Yes. But however, as a nation, we know which are sensitive areas, which are sensitive waters, and where we have to put our assets much in. To address this repeatedly, every year, there is a process of working to develop the plans. So we have a 15-year perspective plan, long-term perspective plan they call it. And from then roll out is the defense acquisition plan, okay, or we call it as a definitive action plan. That's a 5-year roll-on plan. From that, we have a 2 years annual acquisition plan.
Okay.
So all these plans, when we evolve, we know what should be prioritized, which platform needs to be prioritized, and how to progress it about, considering the availability of budget that is made available to the organization. As you rightly brought out very clearly, the Coast Guard is also a partially revenue earning organization back to the government.
Yes.
By way of our apprehensions, by way of our responding to pollution response operations, and any other service that we provide to the other agencies.
Yes.
So the assets, when you're talking about platforms today, which we have is about 156, and we have about 5 of them under construction.
Okay.
And we have some more in the pipeline to be contracted. That's we have 2 PCVs likely to be contracted in this year, and we have 12 air cushion vehicles likely to be contracted in this year.
Okay.
As far as surface platforms are concerned, by which we will closely moving around to say by end of 21, close to about, as you rightly made a mention, 165 ships we will coin up. and we will have about aircraft when we come on. Today we have about 62 aircrafts. 16 advanced light helicopters Mark III version is presently under production, and the first one is likely to be handed over to us during the Aero show which we have
Yes.
on the 3rd of February onwards.
Yes.
So our first aircraft is likely to be rolled out, and all the 16 advanced light helicopters will be handed over to us by the end of this year itself. So it's a
great.
phenomenal number.
Yeah.
And thereafter we have in pipeline 14 twin engine heavy helicopters which are of in the range of 10 to 12 ton capacity.
Okay.
These are essentials for the Indian Coast Guard because the role requirement are phenomenally larger and important for the nation.
Yes.
Why it is required is we see that the vessel or the aircraft which is going twin engine, it has a quite large capability. It has a deep penetration into the sea, and it can be embarked on board the ship for operations, and it is effective for our search and rescue. Even in the fire incident which recently the New Diamond episode which has happened, it has given us a little amount of deficiency as far as a role required aircraft, that is twin engine helicopter. Because we have used the Sri Lankan twin engine helicopter with the Bambi bucket,
Yes.
which picks up the seawater from the area close to the scene of operation, and that is used on the fire. So that means you do not lose much time on transiting, rather you are available on scene to extinguish the fire.
Yes.
So we were lacking that amount of capability within the Coast Guard, and with this 14 twin engine heavy helicopter comes in, that will meet the much more needed capability. Further, we can also respond to search and rescue deeper into the sea. There are some merchant vessels which are transiting about 100, 150 miles from the shore. Do call us for a medical emergency.
Yes.
Some of the crew are paralyzed, or some of the crew are injured badly. Some of them have been a heart attack or something of this nature.
Yes.
So we can respond quickly and we can save the life.
Yes.
So these things can make a big impact as far as the assets are concerned. So we by then, and also 6 multi-mission maritime aircraft is in the process of revalidating of our AON, acceptance of necessity. When that comes up, all sums it up, it will lead into about 100 aircraft Coast Guard organization.
Okay.
And by the year 2025, we will reach the force level of 200 ships.
Wow, that's
And about close to about 100 aircraft by the year 2028, we can put it across. So which is a quite phenomenal number. And with the present assets itself, we are 4th largest in the world. And we are the potent Coast Guard today, and nationally, internationally recognized. And we are training many other countries' Coast Guard with us.
That's a huge number, and look forward to Coast Guard having a double century as far as the aircrafts are concerned. Since we're talking about the assets, sir, one of the most talked about projects in terms of the asset from the Coast Guard point of view has been the coastal surveillance radar. The entire network phase 1 has been completed and is being effectively utilized as well. My question is specifically to the phase 2 of it, because a lot has been talked about that as well through the static radar chain. How do you see that project moving? Because as we all know, India is a peninsular country, and when you have the huge maritime border, the movement of ships and the mobile assets is good in one way, but at the same time we got to have something that's permanent and 24/7. How do you see the phase 2 of that project moving? How it's gonna help? How it's gonna basically share the information and the entire central surveillance network, coastal surveillance network, with the other agencies, the IB, the NTRO, the SAT-based institutions, and also the state governments as well. So could you tell our viewers a little more about the phase 2?
See, as you rightly made a mention, phase 1 of the coastal surveillance network on 46 locations, both within the main peninsular India as well as on the island territories of ours, has been fixed and has been functioning effectively. And as a result of which, wherever the gaps could be there, and to pack up the bridge the gaps which are there, we have gone into the contract with the Mrs. Bell for additional 38 of them. These 38 radars will be again fitted in the gap areas which will cover up the entire coastline. And this is also going to be installed even in the islands territories too, Lakshadweep and as well as for the Andaman Nicobar. Now, the beauty of this coastal surveillance network, unlike the earlier version, is this is going to be again connected with the vessel traffic management system,
Okay.
VTMS.
Yes.
So when we have the vessel management traffic system, which is being governed by the shipping industry and also connected with the national AIS system, the lot of data that is going to be there, it's available with the Coast Guard.
Okay.
Because Coast Guard is the nerve center for the coastal surveillance network unit. Now, the feed from the coastal surveillance network also goes to the IMAC,
Yes.
which is the information sharing center for
Gurgaon.
within the country, Gurgaon, within the country as well as outside the country.
Yes.
Now, they are becoming the fulcrum, drawing the feed from me and
Okay.
sharing to other agencies which are required. Apart from that, our location which are there in Gujarat and Mumbai and other areas being connected up with our offshore platforms too.
Okay.
And now we are in the process of linking with the shipping industry, that is with the Ministry of Shipping, DG Shipping, which is the maritime administrator. Yes. We are also trying to get ourselves connected with our their op center. So these data will be available in most of the organization who are required to be aware of and respond to the operations. And this phase 2 will be completed by November 21 this year. The contract for which has been signed already with the Mrs. Bell. The work has already been started. The endeavor is to have it by 2021, by this year end, by November. That itself is a significant progress. Having seen our capability of developing this particular project, our neighboring countries also started looking for installing such system in their countries.
Yes.
So Bangladesh has started coming, Sri Lanka is in the process of doing it, with the Mauritius, as well as in the African countries, Mozambique. So many countries have come towards us, asking that they want to install such mechanism. And this is a team from the UAE is also visiting this month, in the month of February, the coming month, to get to know the hovercraft and also this operation for installation in the country. So there is a good amount of input that we likely to garner out from this, and that will be helpful for all our operations out at sea.
Since we are mentioning a lot of foreign countries in terms of cooperation, I want to understand from you specifically in the current circumstances where the Indian government has launched this massive operation called Vaccine Maitri. There are lots of countries which are being covered, all ministries which have the domain sharing, the aviation, the military, the other ministries are also involved as far as the entire Vaccine Maitri project is concerned. And I've been witnessing a lot of such cooperation taking place from the Coast Guard side as well. Not specifically from the vaccine point of view, but a lot of other aspects where the Indian Coast Guard is actively involved in ensuring that right from the Act East to the neighboring neighborhood first, all these foreign affairs and the Prime Minister's vision aspects are being executed very well by the Indian Coast Guard. Specifically in last couple of years, I've seen increasing that number. What's your plan and in terms of the neighboring countries, in terms of the foreign cooperation? India's importance, everyone knows, has grown a lot as far as the international domains are concerned. What role do you see the Indian Coast Guard under your leadership playing in the foreign cooperation aspects?
See, Ashish, you rightly brought out. So the need of the hour is to have a healthy relation with our littorals.
Yeah.
That makes a good relation, makes a good impact in our performance as a nation whole.
Yes.
And being a peninsular India, most of our trade is through sea.
Yes.
And our economy can be strengthened by having the blue economy system in place, towards which the cooperation is essential. The Indian Coast Guard being the peacetime maritime law enforcement agency, and with the relation of the Act of the International Maritime Organization, the Indian Coast Guard plays a very comfortable role in joining hands with the neighboring countries.
Yes.
And these countries are also developing the maritime safety agencies as also the Coast Guard. The basic purpose is the interaction become much easier. One-to-one communication becomes easier because the role is such, since it's being peacetime oriented, because there's a search and rescue requirement.
Yes.
Because any vessel which is transiting of any nation, if there is a men or their people are in distress, the response is required. So the relation when it gets connected, you are there for their call and respond to them, save a life.
Okay.
That brings much more closer.
Okay.
And today the concern of every nation is an impact on the economy.
Okay.
The impact on the economy can be prevented if you prevent the transnational maritime crimes.
Okay.
The transnational maritime crimes has a larger significance in the way of people involved in drug smuggling, gold smuggling, the weapon smuggling, so many things which are happening. But from one country to another country, these have a threat for their own nationality.
Yes.
So everybody would like to join hand, strengthen their cooperation, and the Coast Guard in that plays a vital role. In that, the Indian Coast Guard plays a significant role because we are the fourth largest in the subcontinent
Yes.
of ours, Indian Ocean region.
Yes.
And we are the trusted and reliable, dependable partner
True.
that has been proven beyond the doubts with our neighbors.
Yes.
So that's why today most of the countries are coming towards the India and to the Indian Coast Guard. The government is quite comfortable in giving them the trainings and
Yes.
support to them. The Maldivians are coming to us for training.
Yes.
Sri Lankans are coming to the Indian Coast Guard for training. We have Mauritius people coming to us for training. We have people from Seychelles coming for training. From Bangladesh, they are coming for training. So most of our neighbors are coming to the Indian Coast Guard to learn the way how the Indian Coast Guard is responding to all those activities. Being thin on ground as far as the manpower is concerned, we are effective in our roles and responsibility.
Okay.
So that's an impact. And that makes a lot of difference as far as the international cooperation is concerned.
Okay.
The nation has witnessed the healthy relation. The MEA is coming forward
Yes.
to support us to move forward in that. We have gifted some of the platforms to Mauritius. We have given platforms to Maldives. We have given platforms to Sri Lanka.
Yes.
We have given platform. Now we're going to give platforms to the Seychelles too. So it's in Ministry of Defense and the MEA is coming in a larger way to strengthen the bilateral relationship, trilateral relationship with these neighbors countries
Okay.
and progress it better to ensure our waters are safe and secure for the maritime community and to have the people comfortable to live for the future generation.
Okay. With that note, sir, I'm coming to the last part of our interview, and there have been a couple of major aspects, MTC and China, which have been the talking points as far as the maritime domain is concerned. Domestically, I'll first try and understand your views and the status as far as the Maritime Theatre Command is concerned. I know it's a very nascent stage. It is just begun, or in fact, not even begun. In fact, it's being talked about. Nothing has been moving in a major way. But how do you see the Maritime Theatre Command aspect coming into picture with India changing in the entire military domain structure with the theatre commands of Army, Navy and Air Force, all of them involved. But Coast Guard will also be playing an extremely crucial and vital role. So the Maritime Theatre Command.
See, Ashish, as you rightly said, it is in the nascent stage, one. Second, the Indian Coast Guard, by the virtue of its construct, deals with 14 ministries and 3 departments.
Yeah.
And we are the executive arm of these ministries to discharge the required capabilities and the performance and discharging their charter out at sea. And I, being under the Ministry of Defense as a parent ministry, are governed by the requirements of the defense.
Yes.
So whenever the national needs my role requirement to be adapted towards such requirements of the Maritime Theatre Command, or for the nation's progress to have the sovereignty and the sovereign right position in place,
Yes.
I think any other organization should be comfortably with each other, sharing of resources, caring for each other and progressing together is the order of the day. And if it comes, I am sure the Coast Guard will be an equal partner to everyone, every act of it.
With that, sir, I want to ask you the last question to you, and which has been the talk of the town and also internationally the most discussed military domain question is the China tension. I understand Coast Guard is not playing any direct role as far as the India-China maritime domain tension is concerned, but it has a specific role even in the passive domain. With Navy looking a little more outward these days because of the maritime tension, has it increased any sort of pressure or the surveillance intensity from Coast Guard point of view, specifically the Indian coastal areas?
See, Ashish, I would like to put it across this way. The role responsibility of the Indian Coast Guard extends up to the exclusive economic zone, which is about 200 nautical miles and an area of 2.01 million square kilometers.
Okay.
The entire area, to a great extent, has been covered by the Coast Guard assets. On a daily basis, we deploy about 50 ships and about 12 aircrafts covering the entire stretch. And also using other technological advanced means to monitor the entire movement of ships which are going. Be it any nation that is being already monitored and moved.
Yeah.
Now, when we are coming into the aspect of it, the water beyond the 12 nautical mile is free for freedom of navigation.
Yes.
So, any vessel can traverse length and breadth going from one country to another country as long as the transit is expeditious and continuous.
Yes.
If there is any break or stop or any other means, then it leads to suspicious role and requirement.
Yes.
So, in accordance with the UNCLOS and as per the needs of the IMO, the Indian Coast Guard is performing the charter as a peacetime maritime law enforcement agency,
Yes.
maintaining our waters secure from any of these penetration.
Yeah.
As far as the role requirement is concerned, since the area has been kept totally checked and controlled,
Yes.
as far as the Coast Guard is concerned, there has not been much of an incident where any other misadventure of any other vessel of importance into our water. As far as my role requirement is concerned, I can only make a mention because there are certain things which need to research and other aspects which get onto this. UNCLOS covers on various aspects of that.
That's fine. Yeah.
So, Coast Guard per se is maintaining effective surveillance in our exclusive economic zone, and vessels which are permitted to transit our waters are transiting as per that. So, we have not come across any of these misadventure activities which are supposed to be there, and it is not to our knowledge or capability. If it is there, certainly we will report to the authorities concerned. Or as and when we sight any men of war, there are procedures which are there. We report to all authorities concerned,
Yes.
including the Navy, and every organization get to know whenever we sight men of war out at sea. This is a standard procedure, and that is being followed.
That's great, sir. On that note, your message on the 45th Indian Coast Guard Raising Day to the maritime community.
It has been 18 months I have been in the helm of affair of this Indian Coast Guard. The Coast Guard has been progressing significantly well. The Tatrakshaks, which we call the men of this organization, are working shoulder to shoulder and progressing, leaving no stones unturned in meeting the ever-increasing maritime challenges.
Okay.
The Coast Guard presence of a vessel at sea has a dual role capability, one as saviors and one as deterrence. As a deterrence, when you say any vessel of ours, itself it's as a self-deterrence for the anti-nationals. And when I say as saviors, the maritime community is quite confident that any call that has been raised on the Indian Coast Guard, the Coast Guard is available for their requirements. That itself is a gain that the Indian Coast Guard has made over these years.
Yes.
And our role has been the on-the-beat philosophy patrol. So we are maintaining the entire surveillance of this area. Notwithstanding the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, the Indian Coast Guard continued its mission, maintaining a healthy relation with every organization which is required to be there.
Yeah.
We have progressed well, not alone, together with every organization which has a role responsibility at sea, including Navy, Coastal Police, Customs, Port Authorities, Minister of Fisheries. Name any organization which has got a role in that has been done. My growth and my progress of this organization has been significant only because of the strong support that the Minister of Defence gives to us by way of the appropriate platforms, budget and manpower sanctions. That's a strength for us, and that will continue to propel us to do much more in the times to come. Thank you.
Thank you so much, DG sir. And Once again, best wishes from NewsX and ITV Network team on the 45th Raising Day. Coast Guard has been one force which I personally also experienced and witnessed multiple times in last 1.5 decades. Has been just a call away, whether it's the country, society, or an individual. Thank you so much, sir, for taking
Thank
your
you.
time.
Thanks for interacting with you. It's a pleasure too, and I'm sure looking forward for in future to interact much more time.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.